We have two speeches coming up as competitions. One is evaluation competition, one is humorously speaking competition. The catch for the humorous competition is it has to be humorous, nothing more than that. And trust me, the toughest speech to give is a humorous speech. Okay. So after doing an advanced manual over it, I still suck at it. I'll say that way. But over the tenure, I've compiled few points which will actually help all of us distinguish a speech from a humorous speech. And today's workshop, what I've done exclusively for you all is I've taken a speech which is humorous, broken it down into segments, so you will understand at what point what was used as a humor, and this is going to be like a takeaway for all of you to start planning your speeches that way. So since most of you are giving your normal CCs right now, like CC 1 to 10, I think you guys can try to incorporate this humorous factors into your speeches. There's a competition coming up in 2 months' time. So I think that will be a good practice for. So the basic 6 levels of, or basic 6 rules of a humorous speech. I'll just show you the outline and then we'll jump into a real speech. Find humor in everyday life. People tend to say that finding humor is tough. One very important point is you recycle humor your way. It's very tough to write or get a genuine humor speech for yourself. So what we do is we take old humor, recycle them and use them. But how do you exactly recycle a humor? You use something like an everyday story. For example, when I was traveling from India back to USA, I had an annoying kid behind my seat in the plane. And that guy or girl, whoever it was, kept shouting all the time and used my seat as a punching bag. So you see, from here, slowly, I can start getting humorous lines. So there's all this humor around you, including the fact that there are less people for today's session. And we had a mini angry humorous session before the thing started. So you see, humor comes. Okay, it's all up to you how you want to look at the humor and put it. Know your audience. You give a humorous speech of your country in this country, it's going to fail. Okay. Major reasons being, how many of you are here from Bangalore or know Bangalore pretty well? So there's a famous incident which happened, and this is not a joke. There was a terrorist attack 5 years back in Bangalore which failed because of traffic jams. And if I say this line in US, people don't figure out much. Because here, if you have 15 vehicles in front of your vehicle, it is equal to a traffic jam. In Bangalore, you have 500 vehicles before your vehicle is called a decent traffic jam. So there's a huge impact difference. You need to know your audience. Another famous example would be, I gave a speech once where I did an operation theatre of a woman delivering a baby to a Toastmasters session. Okay. The fact that after 5 minutes, green card, keep pushing. After 7 minutes comes your red card, push more. You have only 30 more seconds left. This speech cannot be understood by not a Toastmaster member. You see, know your audience. So your speech is going to be on Toastmasters' point of view, so that's like a given clue. You know how to use your Toastmaster topics at times. Be funny, consistently. It's a catch. If you do not strike humor within first 45 seconds to 1 minute, you have lost your audience on a humorous speech. There is no point giving 1 or 2 humors towards the middle or towards the end, because there needs to be a consistency in your speech. Opening, body 1, body 2, conclusion. Whatever structure you take needs to have humorous factor consistently. Use props. For, I think, few members like Surya Shavani would have seen this during conference. There was a guy giving a speech who used a banana. Okay. The speech was not a banana. The speech was how to look at problems and handle them differently. So instead of peeling the banana from the top, he peeled it from the base. And actually it's a proven scientific fact, when you peel it from the base, it peels faster. Okay? So use props, which can be used on stage, so that people will, for example, getting a banana on stage has a different way of me looking at it. So use those kind of props to exemplify your speeches. Don't step on your laughter. You have given a fantastic line for a humor, a punchline. But if you do not wait for those 5 seconds or 3-4 seconds and you carry on, you just stepped over your humor. So people couldn't laugh and they are just starting to listen to your next part. So you missed the humor part out. So don't step over your humor. Let them laugh, but you don't laugh. Because if you, as a speaker, laugh on stage, you have killed the humor once again. And last thing, consult with others your speeches before delivering on stage. you need to figure out which are the actual punchlines, because what you felt is humorous may not be humorous to another. So consult this with varied age groups and people of different, or say, the career points or whatever, communities. That will give you a general idea on giving a proper generic humorous speech. Now, these are the same things which has been incorporated to a good extent in the upcoming speech which I'll show you right now. And for the speech, for you to understand the speech, there are lines in white, which is the speech lines. There are lines in blue, which are my suggestion lines within the speech. And there are certain words which are bolden. Bolden doesn't mean that it has more emphasis or you have to stress that word. Bold means two things. Has a catch, has a stress. So I'll let you know when time comes. The very first thing about any speech, including a humorous speech, will be, please do not come on stage and start giving a speech. Your timer starts only after you say your very first word. So if you come on stage, look at everyone. Give a suspense moment that people are trying to figure out what you're going to say. A building moment comes. You need this building moment. Okay? So don't jump into your speeches. Wait for 8 to 10 seconds. Usually 10 seconds is a bit longer wait, but in such a speeches where you're giving humorous ones, people are getting anxious to know what exactly you're going to speak about. Now, I'm sure all of you have come across this particular quote. Okay. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Does anyone want to attempt saying what it means? Anyone, come on, it's a very common line. What do you figure out from this line? It's a very famous one, actually. No meaning. Kaushiki, did you get the meaning of this line? Because I take practical day life examples, so you should figure out what's going on in my life when I give a presentation. Yeah. So, mind translating the meaning?
So when a woman is in fury, so when a woman rages, there is no hell. So that is even worse than a hell.
Simple thing. People are afraid to go to hell. They want heaven. Making a girl angry is worse than going to hell.
Yeah.
As simple as that. And it's a very famous line told in 1697 by William Concrete, one of my favorite guy. Now, isn't this a very good line to start a humorous speech? You're actually mocking another person.
Yeah, but only when the audience understand the meaning of it, then it is humorous.
Yeah. So, see, most of the time, people who go for competitions, they read all these quotations, they read jokes because they need materials. Okay. So, when you're going in front of an audience for giving a speech as such, you have a decent understanding that they know such lines. Because they'll translate it, after all. So, if you give a speech which starts with, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, you just build a factor. You haven't done anything more than that. Now, for a humorous speech, if you want to build something over this, what should be the next step? A hitting, contradicting statement or a matching, complementing statement. Something like, today, not much has changed. That basically means to say, in 1697, a guy has quoted something. 2017, things haven't changed. And which part hasn't changed? Technology has changed. Subjects have changed. But a girl, when she gets angry, hell is worse than hell. That hasn't changed. So these are certain ways how you need to tweak your funny quotes or interesting quotes and make it in your style. Another example would be one of my humorous speeches which I gave long back. I use the same quotation line once again. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. And then when people thought I'm going to give a supporting line like this, I went, hell hath no fury like a man ridiculed. So from girls, I made it to boys immediately. So these are different ways in which you can tweak, mold your quotations, jokes, or any significant phrases. Okay. One catch. The phrase has to be famous enough for people to know. So if you're using some recent dialect, it might cause an issue. Okay. So it has to be something very famous. This is just one example because the one in which I'll move on tells into this. You build a story, you say something, you repeat that something, and then you do a contrasting statement to that thing. This is how, in general, a good triplet works. One, you say. The second thing, you say it again. And the third thing, you make a contrasting statement. And that's how humorous works? That's because when you say, I'm going to say three things, two of them are matching, people will assume the third thing to be matching. But if the third thing just changes the direction, you have hit the intellectual part of any speaker. An example would be, I'm building a story right now. A year ago, I was having a beer with two friends. We were depressed. My first friend spoke. Last night, my wife and I had a big fight, and when it was over, she locked me out of the bedroom. My other friend said, last night, my wife and I had a big fight, and when it was over, she locked me out of the house. We just repeated the same line twice, hyping the second one a bit more. I looked at them. Last night, my wife and I had a big fight, and when it was over, she came crawling to me on her hands and knees. You, three of you, are depressed. You go in a bar. Two of them told you, my wife is angry and out of the bedroom and the room altogether house. And the third person says the same line. I had a fight. And now, after the fight, she came crawling to me in hands and legs. So isn't that kind of very curious? Like, what exactly happened? My friends were astonished. You need to bring certain factors to build in, because people might not get a punch immediately. So you use a building line like this. My friends were astonished. That's incredible. What did she say? Come on, everyone will be curious. What did you say that after fighting girl comes to you that way? She said, you can't hide under the bed all night, you coward. Come out and fight like a man. So basic thing was, all three had the same thing. They all lost the battle. But the one chose a different way to hide the battle. Okay, so this is how you play with triplets. You say something, repeat that, maybe a bit more. Third, change that altogether. So these are the statements which are going to hit the audience like anything when you give a speech. This is that bedroom scene. So before you start a speech, the best thing would be, as I said, 8 to 10 seconds time you should take before you go to the stage. So you start a speech something like this. Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, and all you men out there who know just how tight it is under bed. You don't exactly introduce yourself or greet everyone as soon as you come on stage. Okay, so you say something like this. Today the weather was very shiny. Right now it's 32 degrees centigrade and I'm missing India a lot. Why am I missing it? I'm feeling Bangalore right now. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters, chair. At this point you introduce yourself. So the starting quote and then example was something to build up the hype, and then you went into introducing yourself. And how to make it more funny? Introducing it this way. So this is one style. Not that you cannot introduce yourself in the starting, but such approaches will help you do better. So now that I gave you how, this is one of the examples. Okay. So now that the speech had started with a quote, then the speech had started with an example, and then you gave an outline. What was the issue about? Guy and a girl fighting. You delve into the story, because your humorous speech needs to have a story in it. Has to have something, a message or some substance in it. So now you move forward to a speech like this. For centuries, I am linking back this to the 1697 quote, because the quote I used was of that time, and after that 3 centuries have already passed. So I'm bringing back my speech back to it. For centuries, we men have been powerless in the face of women's fury. Our logic is shot down. I've highlighted the, okay. Our logic is shot down. Our arguments are ground to dust. Our reasoning melts like butter on toast. I've come to a trad once again. I've played with gestures and metaphors, and I've used 3 different words to exemplify 3 different aspects of a human being. But in a funny way. Because I've used like, our reasoning melts like butter on stage. And basically I'm saying girls will fight with their logic. Okay. And this is because a guy is the protagonist right now. The speech started with 3 men in a bar. Next, you support your line. We have no defenses. We found no way out. I'm linking back to the title, Way Out. So the title of the speech was Way Out. You need to have a catchy title at times to sell your speeches. So, and if you have a title, you need to refer your speeches back to the title at times. So this is how I brought it back. We had no defenses. We found no way out. Until now. and a pause. A big issue while giving speeches, especially a humorous speech, will be we forget to give pauses. And pauses are important because I've used a contracting line right now until now. So I've used a suspense line. That night, after the beer with friends, I lay in bed pondering our predicament.
Predicament.
Yeah, see, I'm not that good in English. Yeah. I meant on top of the bed. So when you come back to such words like came to the bed, people will think you're below the bed once again. So you're trying to hit that point. So it's different kind of humor you're trying to link together. Where did we go wrong? What was our mistake? When you say a speech, stop it this way, slowly. You need the people to think. Because people are going to do the entire recap once again in mind. So, as you see, you're giving so many speeches and so many pauses, your speech should have literally not many words. Then it occurred to me, maybe men aren't the problem. Maybe women just don't know how to argue properly. Maybe all they need is a little direction. So now comes, after nearly 1.5 minutes of my speech, a statement that I'm trying to make. As I said, a humorous speech without meaning, without substance, without subject is nothing. So now I'm bringing the subject. So you see, you cracked the humor in the starting, you played funnily with the words, you linked that to your title, and then you came to your point of speech. And now that you have given a point, you have support that point. But how to give it? Because your previous question was, maybe they need a little direction. So you need to do something, right? So the question is, how to give it? Then I had a mad idea. At Toastmasters, we evaluate each other all the time. The next time my wife got angry, I would evaluate her. So this speech cannot be understood by a guy who is not a Toastmaster. So you see, we need to know the target audience as one of the 6 points in the starting. So understand your audience is one of the most important key factor for your speech. Remember, if a humorous speech is not humorous, and they know that you're coming to give a humorous speech is embarrassing, and then you start losing self-confidence. That should not occur. Study your audience in advance. Now that we have that statement, they need a direction. We know we have to do something. Here is you bring an initial climax to your story. An event has to occur where you will bring to motion how you manage the girl. I was able to test my theory the following week. I had gone out, lost track of time, and came home very late. And I forgot to call. When I opened the door, she was waiting. So usually when door opens, either good things or bad things happen. And when I've given that an event occurred, obviously the audience knows right now your wife is angry behind the door, waiting for you. So you got an event. Have you lost your mind? Now this is certain points where you have to bring in two kinds of voices. So if you are a guy giving a speech, you need to know, increase the pitch when you're talking the girls' lines, lower your pitch when you're doing the guys' lines. So you need vocal variety in such humorous pieces. And she proceeded to tears into me for 10 minutes. Now in the starting of the speech, if you remember, I used the word 10. Okay. I just brought the 10 back once again. So when you hit few words 2-3 times, people tend to connect. So if you say the word 10 here, they will remember, okay, in the starting, the word 10 came because of this reason. And you need to give us pause here. You need the audience to link back. I watched, I listened, I took notes. If your wife is angry and you're outside the door, you will watch, obviously. You will be listening to her. Who takes notes when a wife is angry? Again, I'm using the same point. Say something, repeat that same thing, use a contrasting line. It's called dialects, that way. To begin the outcome, now you had an event, you want the outcome to happen. I took a deep breath. Now guys, this is one of the most important lines because you need to breathe on stage. And trust me, you need to breathe something very deeply because you have been talking for continuous moments. So this one line gives you the opportunity, something like this. And I took a deep breath. Give the audience the time. They know you're coming with something good. You take your energy in and get ready for that. Honey, that was a terrific performance. Now look at the words. You need to bring humor out. Okay, this is your climax point. Great content and delivery with lots of emotions. I really enjoyed it. I'm bringing contracting words like enjoy to an angry wife. I'm going to tell you some things that I particularly liked. And then I'll point out some areas where I think you could improve. You're playing with common words, you're juggling with her at this point. Your opening was terrific. You're evaluating your speech right now. You asked a provocative question. Have I lost my mind? It's been said that a mind is a terrible thing to waste, and I certainly don't want to waste mine, let alone lose it. I was intrigued and wanted to hear more. So basically telling your wife, please elaborate more on your points. Second, your facial expressions were fantastic. At one point, your eyes were bulging out to here. So this is the point where I was doing like this. Your eyes were bulging out to here. Means your eyes came out so much. Okay. Try to play with words and your body language at that particular point. I thought your head was going to burst into flames. Well done. This is how you need to say the word well done when you're evaluating. So you see, I'm trying to mock a speech. Finally, a long pause. Excellent use of props. When you threw that dish at my head, I was engaged. You had my attention. So you see how, as per the speech, whatever the girl has threw over the guy is used as props. And you just bring a proper evaluation statement back to your speech. So you mock the person totally. And now that you have given a humorous speech, you need to put a pinching line somewhere. Okay. Now, how could you make that drive even more effective? You're basically telling your wife how to fight with you effectively. So which is something the audience will never expect you to do. I have 3 suggestions. You see, the word 3 always comes into picture. Power of 3, 3 points, 3 helps you connect. Okay. Or somehow it helps people connect. First, stay on topic. You were berating me for staying out so long. That was good. But you got off track and started complaining about my job, my friends, the way I leave my dirty socks on the floor. So you see, you're bringing some other factors, which is common life stuffs. As I said, humor stays in your common life, back into your speech, which audiences really connect. I found a bit confusing. Leonardo da Vinci, okay, if you forget names, say some name. No one's going to take a laptop out and check it out, okay? Put, this is only a record justification. Said that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So remember to keep your message simple and stay on topic. You're using the word simplicity and sophistication in the same phrase. Okay, you're again bringing that contrasting feature into your speech. Second, use more vocal variety. You scream the whole time. You need to lower your voice now and then. It's much more effective and also easier for you to listen. Finally, the time. 10 minutes is too long. You're telling her to shut your mouth within 10 minutes. When we are angry, we see red. So you probably didn't notice this red card after 7 minutes. Again, only a Toastmaster can figure this out. You have given your speech, you have given your climax, you have given the event, you have given the pitching line. But you made a statement in the starting saying what? Maybe they need a direction. Maybe there's a problem with all. You need to conclude that line. But overall, a great performance, and I look forward to our next fight. My wife looked at me with odd expressions and then said, okay, are you coming to bed? After a battle like that, when 2 of his friends are outside the house, your wife calls you back to bed. So this is how you just build a climax point. Was this for real? I told my 2 friends. They tried it and it worked out for them too. It was like, I was like a caveman who had just discovered fire, an alchemist who had invented gold, or a prisoner who had found a way out. Did you notice something about this paragraph? Again, I said 3 examples. So guys, this is the final ending statement. So guys, the next time your spouse or partner gets angry, there is a way out. I just brought the way out once again. And it's not under your bed. Listen to her, evaluate what she's saying, and never forget that she just might have a point. You just concluded your speech with a message right now. Okay, so your speech was not an open-ended speech, your speech was not just a collection of jokes. This is something what the audience will look forward for. Because in your speech, content matters. So I'm sure one speech is not enough to give you an idea, proper idea, but I hope few of the punchlines and few of the places where I said to put a pauses will help you get some idea and build your next speeches. Try to practice on that, because in 2 months' time you're having your club level and area level speech competitions, and I really want UConn members to be out there. Okay. And there is no CC6 criteria for this particular speech competition.